night air carried the scent of damp earth as Anna ran barefoot across sharp gravel, her breaths short and uneven, each step cutting into her skin. She whispered, "I cannot stop now," though her voice trembled with fear. Behind her, shadows stretched long under the pale moonlight, the rhythm of pursuit pounding closer. The sound of footsteps broke the silence, heavy and deliberate, as though hunting. Anna stumbled but caught herself, pain shooting through her ankle. David said, "You cannot outrun the truth," his voice smooth yet chilling. She turned her head just enough to see his silhouette, calm, composed and unyielding. The barn door ahead slammed shut with a deafening crash, as if the night itself sought to cage her. Samuel stood by the locked door whispering, "There is no freedom here." The words cut through her chest like knives. The cold seeped into her bones, her body trembling as her mind screamed for escape. For a moment, she thought of her younger sister Lily waiting inside, innocent eyes still untainted by horror. Anna's heart twisted with guilt and urgency, fear clashing with determination. "If I stop, it ends for both of us," she muttered under her breath. The darkness around her thickened, her world shrinking with every second, until it felt like she was running inside a nightmare that had no exit. The night wrapped Anna in a suffocating silence as she leaned against a broken fence, her breath shallow and ragged. The splinters dug into her palms, but she did not care. She thought of Lily, her younger sister trapped inside, and whispered, "I must reach her." The trees seemed to close in around her, their branches clawing at the sky. She remembered the sermons, David's voice booming like thunder as he promised salvation but delivered chains. "Pain cleanses the soul," he once said, his eyes cold and distant. Anna felt the weight of those words pressing against her chest. Samuel's figure flashed in her mind, his shadow always near, the loyal hand of cruelty. She recalled how he once dragged her across the courtyard for daring to ask a question. That scar still burned. The silence was broken by the faint sound of a hymn sung from within the barn, voices layered in eerie harmony. Anna trembled. "They believe," she muttered, "and that belief keeps us bound." Her hand tightened into a fist, torn between terror and resolve. Her body shook, yet her spirit sparked with the thought of rebellion. In that darkness, she knew she must act or lose Lily forever. Anna pressed her forehead against the fence, her heartbeat loud in her ears. She remembered Lily's soft laughter before the cult's grip smothered it. "I promise to keep you safe," Anna whispered, her voice breaking. The hymn inside grew louder, filling the air with an unnatural harmony. David's words echoed like poison in her mind. "Loyalty is salvation, disobedience is death." She shivered as her fingers traced the scar on her wrist, a reminder of past punishments. She imagined Samuel's face when he carried out the orders, expressionless, mechanical, yet with faint flickers of doubt in his eyes. "Do you ever question it?" she once dared to ask him. His silence then was answer enough. A twig snapped nearby, pulling her from her thoughts. Her body stiffened. Her gaze darted into the trees, shadows shifting unnaturally. "I am not alone," she realized, her breath catching. In that moment, fear and memory blended into a storm that threatened to consume her. But deep within, her will refused to die. "For Lily," she whispered again, voice trembling but fierce. The cold gnawed at Anna's skin as she pushed herself off the fence. She took one step forward, then another, her bare feet bleeding but unrelenting. The hymn continued, voices rising like a storm inside the barn. She imagined Lily among them, innocent lips repeating words she barely understood. The thought clawed at Anna's heart. "They will consume her," she said under her breath. She recalled David's stern smile during rituals, the way he praised obedience with warmth while punishing doubt with fire. Samuel once told her, "Your pain proves devotion," before locking her in the cellar. Every memory weighed her down, but her legs carried her forward. She could see the faint candlelight flickering through the cracks of the barn wall. The sound of a chain rattling froze her. Her eyes widened, scanning the ground. A shadow moved, deliberate, sharp. She felt her throat tighten. "They are waiting," she whispered. Her chest heaved, torn between charging toward the door or collapsing into despair. The wind shifted, carrying with it the scent of smoke and wax. Anna crouched low in the grass, her body trembling. She peered at the barn, its wooden frame looming like a beast against the moon. Inside, the hymn reached its peak, voices loud and unwavering. She thought of Lily, fragile and unaware of the danger she was caught in. Anna's mind replayed a memory, Lily clutching her hand, whispering, "Will we ever be free?" The words stabbed into her soul. Her eyes welled with tears, but she blinked them back, forcing resolve. David's shadow appeared in the barn window, his figure tall, arms outstretched as if blessing the crowd. The sight filled her veins with fire. "You will not take her," she growled softly. Samuel's silhouette lingered by the door, patient and cold, the guardian of chains. Anna's hands pressed into the soil, nails digging deep. She could feel her body breaking, yet her spirit burned brighter. With a trembling breath, she prepared herself for the unthinkable, to face them both, even if it meant death. Anna sat with her back pressed against the cold barn wall, her body trembling not from the night air but from memory. She remembered the first day she entered this place, when David promised belonging. His voice carried warmth then, like a father offering safety. She had been broken, grieving after losing her mother Laura, desperate for someone to tell her she mattered. David said, "You are chosen. You will never be alone again." The words wrapped her like a blanket, but underneath hid the claws of chains. Lily was beside her then, small fingers clutching Anna's hand with trust. "He is kind," Lily whispered, innocent eyes reflecting hope. Anna wanted to believe her. Samuel had stood nearby, silent, watching with a cold stare. His presence was a warning she had ignored. That day the air was filled with hymns, their rhythm intoxicating, their harmony disguising the prison they built. Anna thought back to the moment she smiled, foolishly, believing she had found family. But the smile faded now, replaced by regret and shame. "I stayed because I wanted love," she whispered to herself, pain heavy in her chest. The firelight flickered as David spoke of salvation, his voice heavy like scripture. "The world outside is poison," he declared, eyes burning into each face. Anna felt her chest ache with longing, desperate to belong. Lily leaned against her, whispering, "This feels safe." Anna nodded, though doubt gnawed at her. Samuel circled silently, his stare cold and watchful. The hymn rose louder, smothering her unease. "We are family," David said, smiling with hidden cruelty. Anna's heart swelled with false hope, not seeing the trap. Even now, the hymn echoed in her ears. She pressed her palms to the earth and whispered, "I stayed because I wanted safety." But safety had been nothing more than fire and fear. Anna closed her eyes and saw another night when the barn echoed with music and laughter. The younger ones played, Lily among them, her laughter bright like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. David clapped his hands, smiling as he told them, "Joy is proof of devotion." Anna had smiled too, watching Lily spin in circles. For a fleeting moment, it felt like family. But then Samuel entered, his face a shadow of disapproval. The music dimmed, the children stilled, and silence suffocated the room. He whispered to David, and the leader's smile hardened. "Enough," David said, his tone sharp, the warmth gone. The hymn replaced laughter, and the children sang out of fear. Anna's heart ached as she remembered the shift, the moment joy was stolen. She pressed her fists together now, nails cutting her palms. "I stayed because I wanted happiness," she said softly. Yet the cult had taught her that even happiness belonged to them, rationed out like bread. Anna's chest tightened as she remembered when David placed his hand on her shoulder, his grip gentle but commanding. "You belong to us now," he said, smiling as though he offered freedom instead of chains. Lily giggled nearby, unaware of the weight in his words. Samuel stood in the corner, eyes fixed on Anna as though daring her to resist. She did not move. She wanted to belong. She wanted to feel whole, after so much loss. "Yes," Anna whispered then, betraying herself. That single word sealed her fate. The barn filled with applause, voices praising her devotion. Yet in her heart, a seed of doubt took root. Now, crouched in the grass outside, Anna's body trembled with shame as the memory replayed. "I stayed because I was broken," she whispered, her voice hoarse. The tears she held back spilled freely, dampening her hands. The silence outside contrasted the roaring applause in her memory, leaving her suspended between past and present. Anna wiped her tears and looked toward the barn again. She knew why she stayed, why she allowed chains to form around her heart. She wanted family. She wanted love. She wanted to believe she was not alone. David had offered all of it with open arms, but each embrace was a trap. Samuel enforced the illusion with silent cruelty, never hesitating to remind her of her place. And Lily, sweet Lily, had been the reason Anna endured. Every punishment, every scar, was born for the hope of keeping her safe. But safety no longer existed inside those walls. Anna felt her chest rise with a trembling breath. "I cannot undo my past," she whispered, "but I can still choose her future." The words cut into her like blades, sharp yet necessary. The night pressed close, shadows thickening, yet her resolve flickered like a candle refusing to die. The morning sun pierced through the cracks of the barn walls, its light struggling against the heavy air of ritual. Anna knelt on the dirt floor, her knees bruised, as David's voice thundered above her. "Discipline is love," David declared, his words echoing like a hammer against stone. Around her, dozens knelt in silence, their heads bowed, their breath synchronized like one body. Anna's heart pounded as Lily sat beside her, tiny hands folded in forced obedience. Anna whispered to herself, "Hold on, please." Samuel walked between the rows like a shadow given flesh, his eyes sharp, boots heavy against the wooden boards. The hymn began low and steady, each note pressing against Anna's chest until it suffocated her. She thought of the times laughter once filled her life, before every sound became a weapon. David raised his arms, commanding, "Repeat the vow." Voices obeyed in unison, and Anna hesitated for a fraction of a second. Samuel's gaze locked on her, his expression void of mercy. Fear raced down her spine as she whispered the words she no longer believed. Anna's lips trembled as she repeated the vow, her voice blending with the sea of voices around her. David smiled faintly, satisfied, though his eyes carried fire that warned of punishment for doubt. Samuel's boots echoed louder as he stopped before Anna, his shadow falling across her face. He bent close, whispering, "Do not falter again." His words cut into her like glass. Anna nodded weakly, her eyes darting toward Lily, who sang the vow with innocent conviction. She does not understand, Anna thought, her chest twisting with grief. David's voice rose again. "Loyalty will save your soul. Rebellion will damn it." The crowd echoed his words in perfect rhythm. Anna felt the walls closing in, the bond shrinking into a coffin. Every word tasted like ash, but still, she spoke them. For Lily. For the hope that she could endure long enough to find a way out. Her heart pounded louder than the chants, yet her face remained stone, hiding the fire inside. The ritual ended with the sound of a bell, sharp and final. The congregation slowly rose to their feet, eyes cast downward, moving like puppets on invisible strings. Anna stood with them, her legs aching, her mind spinning. David stepped down from the platform, his robe brushing against the dirt as he approached the center. "You are reborn in obedience," David said, smiling with false compassion. Anna clenched her fists, nails cutting her palms, biting down the scream rising in her throat. Samuel's eyes followed her every move, cold and calculating, as though he could smell rebellion forming within her. Lily looked up at Anna with wide eyes, her trust unwavering, her small body trembling with exhaustion. Anna bent down and whispered, "Stay strong." David raised his hand and the crowd silenced instantly. He glanced across the faces and declared, "Disobedience will be purged tonight." The words fell heavy, and Anna's breath caught. She knew punishment was coming, and fear twisted into dread. The night arrived with the sound of chains clattering against wood. Anna stood outside the barn, forced to watch as Samuel dragged a trembling boy to the center of the courtyard. His face pale, his eyes wide with terror, the boy clutched his chest as though holding on to life itself. David stepped forward, voice booming. He questioned the vow. The crowd gasped, their whispers thick with fear. Anna's stomach turned as she remembered her own doubts, how close she had come to the same fate. Samuel forced the boy to his knees, his hands gripping the child's shoulders like iron. Anna whispered under her breath, "Please stop." Lily stood frozen beside her, her hands clasped tightly, tears brimming in her eyes. David raised his hand and declared, "Pain cleanses." The crack of a whip split the night. Anna's body flinched with every strike, guilt crawling through her veins. "This is what awaits me," she thought, her mind torn between horror and resolve. The boys' screams echoed until they broke into silence, swallowed by the night. The crowd dispersed slowly, their faces pale, their eyes hollow. Anna stood frozen, her nails digging deep into Lily's hand as though anchoring herself. David's voice rang again, calm and cold. "Remember, this is mercy." Samuel's eyes scanned the crowd until they met Anna's. His gaze lingered, sharp as knives, before he turned back toward David. Anna pulled Lily close, whispering, "Do not look, just breathe." Lily buried her face into Anna's shoulder, her body trembling. Anna's chest heaved, her mind screaming with rage. The cruelty was endless, the chains unbreakable. Yet in that very moment, a spark lit within her chest. Fear and despair battled against determination, but determination would not die. "I will not let them take her," she swore silently, staring at the barn that had become both prison and battlefield. Her eyes burned with fire. For the first time, the thought of rebellion no longer seemed impossible. The night was heavy with silence as Anna crouched near the barn window, the hymn fading into whispers. Her breath caught when she saw David step into the center of the circle, his robe glistening in torchlight. He held a golden chalice, his voice commanding reverence. "Tonight we drink for purity," David said with authority. The congregation bowed their heads, their trust unshaken. Anna leaned closer, her heart racing as she noticed the chalice filled not with wine, but with coins and trinkets. He dipped his hand in, lifting glittering pieces stolen from those who had given everything. His smile widened, not holy but hungry. Samuel stood nearby, expressionless, guarding the secret with rigid posture. Anna whispered, "It was never about salvation." Lily clutched Anna's arm, eyes wide with confusion, whispering, "Why does he hold treasure?" The sight pierced Anna's heart. The mask had cracked. David's power was not divine, but built on greed. The truth suffocated her, but it also lit fire in her chest. She now knew what she was fighting. Anna's heart pounded louder as David continued his sermon, masking greed with scripture. "Your sacrifices are eternal," David declared, his eyes sparkling not with holiness but with lust for control. Anna trembled as she remembered giving away her mother Laura's necklace, told it was an offering to cleanse her past. She now saw it glittering in David's palm, a prize among his treasures. "He lied," she whispered, choking on the words. Samuel's gaze swept over the crowd, ensuring silence, ensuring loyalty. The people bowed deeper, voices chanting praises. Lily tugged at Anna's sleeve, whispering, "That is your necklace." Anna's chest burned with rage and guilt. Her sacrifice had not cleansed her soul but fed a monster. David laughed softly, the sound void of mercy, and raised the chalice high. "With these offerings, you prove your devotion." The lie echoed like poison, wrapping around every believer in the room. Anna bit her lip, drawing blood, her mind shattering as truth clawed its way through her fear. The ritual deepened as David handed the chalice to Samuel, who raised it high without expression. "Your devotion enriches eternity," David proclaimed, but his eyes darted quickly to the treasure as though fearing it might slip from his grasp. Anna's stomach twisted as she watched members kneel, their eyes filled with trust, never realizing they had been stripped of everything. She remembered the stories told to them, how every coin given would build a temple in heaven. Now she saw that heaven was only David's pockets. Samuel's stoic face betrayed nothing, but Anna noticed his grip on the chalice lingered, his gaze faltering for half a second. Lily whispered, "Why do they not see?" Anna held her tight, whispering back, "Because they trust him." Rage and sorrow swirled inside Anna, her heart breaking as she watched the faithful give praise to a lie. Each chant of devotion hammered against her skull until it felt like betrayal itself had become alive. Anna's breath shook as she shifted her gaze to the crowd. She spotted familiar faces, neighbors, friends, people who had once been free. Now their eyes glistened with blind devotion. David's voice thundered again, "Only the faithful will ascend." The crowd erupted in cheers, some weeping with joy. Anna's heart cracked as she saw Emma, a cousin once full of laughter, now chanting with hollow eyes. "They are lost," Anna whispered, tears stinging her cheeks. Lily pressed her face against Anna's shoulder, trembling. Samuel's stern gaze scanned the group, but for a moment his eyes softened as they brushed across Emma. The mask quickly returned, his rigid posture unbroken. David stretched his hands outward, declaring, "Those who doubt will be cast aside." The words pierced Anna like knives, for she knew she had doubted, and she knew they would one day turn on her. Fear clawed at her, but beneath it burned rage. The truth had destroyed her illusions, but it had also given her purpose. The ritual reached its peak, voices rising like thunder as the hymn shook the walls. David lifted his arms higher, roaring, "I am the vessel of salvation." His words struck like daggers, but Anna no longer believed. She whispered fiercely, "You are only a thief." Lily clung to her tighter, frightened by the noise, but Anna's eyes stayed locked on David. Samuel handed the chalice back, his hands steady, his face carved from stone. David drank deeply, coins clinking inside, his lips curling into a smile of satisfaction. Anna's vision blurred with rage, her body trembling as if ready to burst. She no longer saw a leader, only a man feeding on the lives of the desperate. "I will not let Lily worship a liar," Anna thought, her voice shaking in silence. The hymn ended in a final shout, and the barn fell into silence so heavy it pressed against her chest. In that silence, Anna made her vow, to break free, even if it meant facing death. The night pressed heavy as Anna gripped Lily's trembling hand, her body hidden in the shadows near the barn. Her chest rose and fell in rapid bursts, each breath filled with fire. She whispered, "Tonight it ends." Inside, David's voice roared, leading chants of loyalty that shook the walls. Anna's eyes burned as she thought of the necklace clutched by his greedy hand. "You stole my mother Laura's memory," she hissed under her breath. Samuel's figure loomed near the door, rigid and silent, the loyal blade of David's will. Anna's nails dug into the dirt, the ground cold beneath her bleeding feet. Lily whispered, "We cannot win." Anna turned, eyes fierce, whispering, "We must." The hymn swelled louder, echoing like thunder. Anna's heart pounded against her ribs like a drum of war. Fear gnawed at her, yet rage fueled her resolve. Every scar, every lash, every lie brought her here. Tonight she would no longer kneel. Tonight she would fight for Lily, even if it meant death. Anna pushed forward, her body shaking but steady, leading Lily closer to the barn's side door. The chanting drowned their footsteps, yet her ears rang with danger. She remembered Samuel dragging her across the courtyard once, chains cutting her skin. She whispered fiercely, "Not again." Lily's grip tightened, eyes wide with fear. Anna pressed her ear to the wooden planks, her heart racing as she heard David's voice declare, "Tonight doubt will be burned away." The words chilled her spine. She peeked through a crack, her breath halting. David raised a torch, flames licking high, his face bathed in firelight. He pointed to a figure bound in ropes. Emma, their cousin. Anna's blood froze. Emma's voice trembled. "I did nothing." David smiled cruelly, answering, "You doubted, and doubt must die." Anna's vision blurred with fury. Lily gasped, clutching her sister tighter. In that moment, the decision was made. Anna would no longer wait. She would act. Anna's body shook as she pressed Lily behind her. Stay here, she whispered. Lily's tear-stained face begged, do not leave me. Anna forced a trembling smile, whispering, I will come back for you. Her hands pushed the side door, the wood creaking faintly, her pulse hammering as she slipped inside. The air was thick with smoke and sweat. All eyes were on Emma, none noticing Anna in the shadows. David lowered the torch near Emma, his voice booming, this fire will purify. Emma cried out, please. Her voice cracked with terror. Samuel stepped forward, handing David a chain, his expression carved in stone. Anna's breath quickened as she clenched a sharp piece of broken wood she had carried, her only weapon. She whispered to herself, for Lily, for Emma. Her legs trembled, but her resolve held. The moment had come, rebellion or death. Anna stepped forward, her voice cracking yet fierce. Stop! The word cut through chance, silencing the crowd in shock. David turned, his eyes narrowing with fury. Samuel froze, chain still in his hand. Emma lifted her head, eyes wide with disbelief. Anna, Emma whispered, her voice trembling. David sneered, you dare interrupt. His smile was cold, venom hidden behind his tone. Anna raised the wooden shard, her hands shaking but firm. You are a liar, she declared, voice trembling but unyielding. Murmurs swept the crowd, confusion flickering in their eyes. Samuel's jaw clenched, his grip tightening on the chain. Lily pressed against the window, whispering, please, Anna. Anna's chest burned, her scars screaming in memory, but her spirit no longer bent. You will not take another, she shouted. The silence cracked with tension, the weight of choice pressing on every breath. The barn erupted. David roared, his voice shaking the walls. Seize her! Chaos broke as Samuel lunged forward, chain clattering in his hands. Anna dodged, the wooden shard slicing across Samuel's arm. His eyes widened, not with pain, but with shock. The crowd gasped, torn between obedience and disbelief. Emma screamed, run! David raised the torch higher, fire blazing as he shouted, she's damned. Anna's chest heaved, her grip on the shard slick with sweat. Lily banged on the window, crying her sister's name. Anna screamed back, hold on, as she dove toward Emma, cutting the ropes with frantic strokes. Samuel staggered, clutching his bleeding arm, his face twisted with conflict. David advanced, torch blazing, shadows dancing wildly against the walls. Anna pulled Emma free, their breaths ragged, their eyes locked in desperate resolve. For the first time, the crowd's silence felt like cracks forming in their cage. The barn lay behind them, its walls echoing with chaos as Anna dragged Emma by the arm into the night. Lily stumbled beside them, tears streaking her dirt-stained cheeks. Anna's lungs burned, her body trembling with exhaustion, but she whispered, we are free. Emma gasped, clutching her wrists where the ropes had cut deep, whispering, they will follow. The cold air sliced through them, the night filled with smoke and distant shouts. Anna turned toward the shadows of the forest, her voice steady despite the fear. Then we run. Lily pressed closer, whispering, I cannot keep up. Anna knelt, cupping her sister's face gently, whispering, you must. Every step away from the barn felt heavy with guilt, the weight of those they left behind pressing against Anna's chest. She glanced back once, seeing torchlight flickering wildly as voices shouted commands. David's roar carried into the night. Find them. Anna's heart clenched, but she did not stop. The chain had cracked, and she would never bow again. The forest swallowed them as branches clawed at their clothes. Anna's bare feet bled with every step, yet she pressed forward, gripping Lily's hand tightly. Emma stumbled, whispering, I cannot go on. Anna hissed back, you can. The ground was uneven, the night air thick with mist, every sound amplified, the crack of a twig, the whisper of leaves, the distant footsteps of pursuers. Lily sobbed, whispering, they are close. Anna pulled her close, whispering fiercely, do not look back. Her heart thundered like a drum, her mind screaming for silence as David's chants echoed faintly from behind. She remembered his words, "You belong to me forever." Rage surged, and she whispered, "No more." The trees loomed tall, hiding them yet pressing close, suffocating in their silence. Emma's breath came ragged, her body trembling, but she nodded, whispering, "I will fight to live." Anna tightened her grip, leading them deeper into the darkness. Hours passed before they collapsed near a fallen tree, their bodies broken but alive. Anna pressed her back against the bark, pulling Lily into her arms. Lily whispered, "Will they find us?" Anna kissed her forehead, whispering, "Not tonight." Emma sat across her wrists raw, her eyes hollow. She whispered, "They will never stop." Anna met her gaze, whispering, "Then neither will we." The forest was quiet now, the silence broken only by their ragged breaths. Anna's body shook with exhaustion, yet her spirit burned with new fire. She thought of Mother Laura's necklace stolen by David, her memory desecrated. She whispered softly, "I will honor her by surviving." Lily drifted into uneasy sleep against Anna's chest, her small body trembling even in rest. Emma whispered, "What now?" Anna stared at the rising moon through the branches, whispering, "We begin again, even if the chains remain inside us." The silence grew heavier as dawn approached, painting the forest in shades of gray. Anna kept her eyes open while Lily slept, her body tense at every rustle. Emma whispered, "You saved me, but at what cost?" Anna looked down at her sister, whispering, "At the cost of chains." The memory of David's laughter burned in her chest, his torch raised, his voice declaring ownership. Samuel's cold stare haunted her, the chain in his hand forever carved into her memory. She whispered bitterly, "They will always live inside us." Emma reached forward, placing a trembling hand on Anna's shoulder, whispering, "But you broke them." For the first time, Anna allowed herself to believe it. Her face softened, though tears welled in her eyes. She whispered, "Freedom hurts." The forest seemed endless, but in the quiet she felt the faintest spark of hope. The first rays of sunlight pierced the treetops, turning the mist golden. Anna stood slowly, lifting Lily onto her back as she stirred awake. Emma rose with unsteady steps, her body swaying but determined. Anna whispered, "We walk forward now." The words felt fragile but unbreakable. The forest no longer seemed like a cage but a path. Every scar burned, every memory screamed, yet she knew she would not return. Lily's voice was soft, half asleep, whispering, "Are we safe?" Anna answered firmly, "Not yet, but we will be." Emma wiped her tears, whispering, "Then let us move." Together they stepped into the golden mist, their bodies broken, but their spirits defiant. Behind them, the cult's shadow lingered, but ahead stretched the unknown, freedom, fragile and terrifying, waiting for them to claim it. The dawn spread pale light across the forest as Anna carried Lily on her back, her body trembling with exhaustion. Emma limped beside her, eyes hollow yet determined. Anna whispered, "We survived," though the word felt heavy. Lily stirred, asking faintly, "Is it over?" Anna whispered, "We are free of them, but they are not free of us." Emma's gaze dropped, whispering, "I still hear him." David's voice haunted Anna's ears, Samuel's stare carved into her soul. She clenched her fists, whispering, "He will not own us anymore." By the river, Anna lowered Lily to drink, her small hands trembling. Emma washed her bruised wrists, face pale under the fractured sunlight. The rushing water masked their silence, but Anna's mind replayed the whip's crack and David's roar. She whispered, "We cannot forget." Lily asked, "Do we have to remember?" Anna whispered, "Yes, because forgetting means they win." Emma lifted her gaze, whispering, "Then we carry it." Anna stared at her reflection in the broken water, whispering, "We carry it." They walked deeper into the forest, but Anna turned once toward the horizon. Smoke rose faintly where the barn still stood. She whispered, "Others are still there." Guilt weighed her chest. Lily held her hand, whispering, "We cannot save them all." Tears burned as Anna whispered, I will never stop wishing I could. Emma's hoarse voice followed. The chain is broken for us, but not for them. The forest swallowed their steps, yet the ghosts walked close. Anna whispered, even in freedom, they walk with us. The day brightened, but the light felt hollow. Anna's body ached, every step heavy. Lily whispered, I want to forget. Anna's voice cracked, I know. Emma walked behind, whispering, I still hear chains. Anna stopped, eyes fierce, whispering, we will heal, but scars will stay. Lily touched her face softly, whispering, then we carry them together. Anna embraced her tightly, whispering, together. Emma placed her hand on Anna's shoulder, whispering, we are not broken anymore. We are surviving. The trees opened into a wide field. Wind swept across the grass as Anna froze, Lily clinging to her. Emma's eyes glistened. Lily whispered, are we safe? Anna answered, safe enough. Emma's voice cracked. Only 3 of us escaped. Silence cut deep. Anna whispered, then we live for those who could not. The wind howled like memory, carrying away their voices but not their pain. Anna held Lily tighter, whispering, I still hear them chanting in my dreams. The scar would never fade.